Happy 2024. It's our first Let's Get Real and Heal meditation service of 2024. Yeah. Love is what you're here for in 2024. How do you like that, guys? I'm getting thumbs up from the back. So I hope you guys like and embrace that notion. So thank you for joining us this evening. If this is your first time joining us, or actually if it's your 1,000th time joining us, I'm still Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. We're located in the North San Fernando Valley, if you know where that's at. And I'm joined tonight by our assistant minister, Reverend Nancy Woods. And we are both delighted to have you joining us online. And for those who will be joining us later, it's like 55 degrees out in Southern California, threatening to rain. So wintry weather out here for us, or for those of you back east, it's springtime. So, so we're delighted to have you with us. And so let's get started the way we do all of our services here, by bringing the lights down just a wee bit and taking a deep conscious breath as we release. And in that release, we're just allowing the cares and concerns of the day to fall away as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. And fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in the sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, taking a moment to remember those in the conflicts in Ukraine, in Gaza, in Israel, any places where there's conflict of any kind, possibly within your own heart. please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
Trusting in the power and the presence of the love of the universe. Knowing that the infinite intelligence that created all is that which we are trusting. We're trusting that it is guided and directed and coming forth as each one of us, individualized in this human experience, knowing that that divine presence of life is guiding and directing according to the consciousness that we allow ourselves to let it flow through. And as we accept and know that that infinite presence is always available to us, we realize that each and every aspect of our life comes forth according to the way we accept and embody this truth. So it's with love and acceptance, with awareness that this presence is always available in its love and its harmony and its peace. And knowing this is how we approach ourselves in this new year, letting this truth be the framework out of which we experience life. With this in our hearts and this understanding as the consciousness that we express life through, we accept it, we embody it, we live it, and with true appreciation, we accept the law that fulfills it. So with love, we unite in knowing this truth together, as we say, and so it is. Welcome to the new year, 2024. And I am very grateful that I'm here in this center and standing here speaking to those out there about this wonderful, beautiful place in which we have been able to experience the many blessings of awareness. And that awareness and that understanding that we share and teach and study here together has gifted me with so many rich moments of life that I am standing here thinking I just want to open the doors and say, y'all all come and let's do this together. Because I feel like this philosophy has gifted me with such a strength, a freedom, understanding, and an awareness that life is to be lived according to our own individual gift, and that everybody has a gift to offer, and that it is not only a wonder that I am able to experience my own gift, but I am also blessed with the opportunity to receive the fruits of the gifts of all those around me. And I am really appreciating the idea that these principles that I have learned and gained through this philosophy has given me a much broader perspective of how to embrace humankind in such a way that the loving aspect of my experience in life comes forth to others through the idea of embracing and loving myself. And I have been able to learn and understand and appreciate who I am. And I'm able to appreciate the idea and the understanding that the truth I'm finding out about myself is the truth for me, for all humankind. And therefore, I can appreciate and look forward to this year being a rich one and a blessed one and an exciting one in a lot of ways. And I am inviting all of you, whether you join us online or you join a place that's close to you, to step into learning about the divine presence that is within. It offers you so much. It offered to me amazing, amazing experience of life. And I'm so grateful for it. And thank you for letting me share it.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Nancy.
I'm supposed to do some announcements. If you are looking to experience some of these ideas that you have set up for yourself and you need some support, there are practitioners available on CSLGH.org. So you can call somebody to help you, to support you with prayer work. And we are beginning our new program for the youth. And we have a lot of activities going on for the next few weeks. And we're going to begin with the, our first Youth Sunday is January the 7th. And then we have children's beginning drumming that starts the 10th. And we will have some beginning guitar on the 10th. And for the rest of the month, there will be different activities for youth. So if you have some youth or you know some youth looking for some exciting experiences to have, contact Reverend Nicole for the information of how to do it, or you can call and ask at the center. And thank you for that. Now back to you, Reverend.
All right, great, thanks. Yeah, the youth thing is, it's finally coming, so if you know someone, I was thinking about how we have these smaller, they might be smarter, smaller charter schools now in our school district, where there are not, and maybe you have friends or children or grandchildren who are going to one of these smaller charter schools, not Granada, of course, and perhaps they have no arts program at all, or whether it's theater arts or a music program. And if that's the case, this is the type of child we're trying to, and the type of family we're trying to target to offer some community by means of the arts. And so this is our way of inviting people to come in for some structured play around the arts, whether it's in theater, guitar, drumming. There'll be some creative writing and possibly dance or Tai Chi down the line. So keep an eye on that, but that's our little target audience there. So if you know someone, please send them our way. And it didn't occur to me until you started sharing, Rev, that this is actually the first official service of 2024 because we haven't had a Sunday service yet. So that doesn't happen very often. Usually we have the Sunday before the Wednesday. So it's kind of cool. that we're here to kick it off. And I was going to, for this month, we have a tradition here in our center and in other centers for spiritual living globally, where we revisit the first 4 Roman numeral chapters of our textbook. So I thought we would just, I would take some excerpts from that, and that we would meditate from that. Before we get to that, I came across a story, perhaps you've heard this, and I'm not sure, I can't remember now if I was reading about the Hubble telescope or if it was the new Webb telescope. I suspect it was Hubble. And there was a special request. So they had, of course, when they have these instruments like the Hubble telescope, scientists from around the world, they're any telescope in the world, but certainly the Hubble, very strictly scheduled time frames on who can use it. That's their international efforts. So for instance, the telescope was at Mailea on Maui, the big telescope there. So people schedule like years out ahead of time. So the same thing with the Hubble. So anyway, someone had some muckety-muck had some telescope time, and they asked what they wanted to do with it. And they targeted a section of space that was completely dark and had no stars in it. Did you hear this story? Yeah, no stars at all, pitch black. And so they kind of got some pushback. Well, what do you want to point the telescope there, right? This valuable telescope time costs us all these billions of dollars, and you want to point it in some direction where there isn't anything? But anyway, they humored them, and they pointed the telescope in that direction. And lo and behold, the image that they got was filled with stars. Stars that were so far away that their light could not be seen here on Earth without a telescope. And then on further study of this particular image, it was found that it was also full of galaxies, not just stars, but galaxies. Which is pretty mind-blowing, right? So here we look up in the night sky and we think we're seeing what we're seeing, but there's actually so much more going on beyond that which we can see, which is a wonderful metaphor for what our spiritual life can be like. And what an eye-opening experience it was for me to come to this center this is my 23rd New Year's now. And I'm just grateful. One of the first people I met here was Reverend Nancy, which you weren't a reverend yet. And of course, I'm one of those people who doesn't want to show up and not know anything. So I wanted to tell her all about Emmett Fox, which I knew barely anything about, but I had been reading. And she wanted to tell me about this guy, Ernest Holmes. And I'm like, yeah, but Emmett Fox is the dude. Yeah, but we teach this guy named Ernest Holmes. So I don't know if you remember that or not. But it's like the classic, that classic situation where, it's kind of hard to learn anything if you already think you know what it is you need to learn, right? The other thing I wanted to share about that, and you'll see how all of these tie together here in a minute. So I had an opportunity to visit with Reverend Susie Andrews, who is sharing with me her first experience of me 23 years ago, where she, warmly welcomed me. I sort of remember this, but she laughs to tell the story of I was welcomed warmly, and she goes, I think you're going to like it here. And my response was, I had my arms over my chest, and I said, we'll see. But here I am, 23 years later. So how does this tie into all of this, right? Telescopes and stories of beginnings and spiritual community. So one of the first things that Ernest Holmes talks about in this, what we refer to as the Science of Mind textbook, is that God is way more than we think it is. And in fact, those of us who even have an issue with the God, to realize that it's really a placeholder idea for that which really is indescribable and is uniquely individualized as an experience that each one of us has, and every one of them are legitimate. So there's no wrong way to see the divine, so long as it's anchored in good in some way. But what he really does in this first section is to encourage us to look in that field of the sky where there are no stars, to expand our experience of what we know the divine to be. Just as we expanded our knowledge of what the universe was in this particular section. So we focus our attention on the idea that the aspects of the divine, creative intelligence, the absolute, first cause, Christ consciousness, Buddha mind, the Atman, Elohim, Elonai, all of the various names of the Spirit, of which we come to see it doesn't take much study to see that a lot of these words are simply designations of an experience, a transcendent experience that we share, and yet all is through the prism or perspective of the culture in which we are experiencing it. And so Holmes looks at this thing called the Spirit or God, and then he looks at the law of cause and effect. And is there a way that these two things coincide together to create this experience that we share together, which we call human life? And so then he explores in these first 4 Roman numeral chapters how that is so. I should say he proposes his opinion on how it is so, and then he invites the reader to explore what it means to them. And he does that through using a particular technique that he calls mind treatment, mental treatment. So an important part of that, of course, is to know what's in our mind. And an important part of knowing what's in our mind is meditation. Because meditation is an opportunity for us to sit. I mean, if you think about it, what is meditation, really? It's just sitting. Mm-hmm. It's sitting and observing in a conscious way to observe what's going on and to understand that this is, we're trying to pierce the veil of perception to be with reality. And what is reality? Whatever's going on right now in this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. How do we get there? By following the breath and following it and focusing it so much so that the thinking mind begins to still, and then we begin to have an experience of the space between thought. And possibly, working within that space, we may even with practice, develop enough stillness in the mind that we take with us through the day or even within a session where we gain insights or experiences of the divine itself expressing as, in, and through our life. And then to explore, to discover this hidden power that we've had within us the whole time, and then to discover it, to then cultivate it, and then finally to use it. And that's the tagline that Holmes uses: there's a power for good in the universe available to everyone, and we can use it. And it was that little available to everyone when I first started coming around here that I had to work with, because I had been taught that I was not worthy. I was not worthy of God's love, that God was up there, something separate, and that I was less than in some way because I was a sinner. And so we come here and we find and we learn that sin is an error in thought rather than an offense against the divine. So these are the things that we learn around here, but it all starts in meditation, because it is in the stillness of the mind where we find the connection with the Spirit that allows us to most effectively use this thing we call the law that we learn about in later chapters. But for tonight, I thought we would just meditate on a couple of key readings out of the textbook. So let's just take a deep conscious breath and release. As we follow the breath, follow the movement of the breath in the nostril. The mind begins to still. So, in the textbook, Ernest Holmes writes, to suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe would create man in bondage and leave him bound would be to dishonor the creative power which we call God. To suppose that Spirit could make man as an individual without leaving us to discover ourselves would be to suppose an impossibility. It's not possible. And that individuality must be spontaneous rather than automatic. And that this seed of freedom, the seed of freedom, of free will, must be planted in the innermost being of man. But like the prodigal son of old, we must make the great discovery for ourselves. So as we begin this meditation and begin this new year, we are like the telescope focusing on that place within our experience that contains a star field that up until now we have not known or been aware of. Rather than look to the heavens, we go within. Following the breath. With each exhale, feel ourselves releasing. If we get snagged by a thought form, we just acknowledge the thinking, take a deep breath, and release it, and return back to the breath. With each exhale, feeling ourselves dropping deeper within ourselves. With each exhale, we feel an expansion of our awareness, the expansion of our hearts, of our minds, focusing on the exhale. As we move into the silence now for about 15 minutes. as we bring our attention gently back into the room. Bringing our attention to our heart center. Place where the eternal flame of the Most High dwells. So with each in-breath, we are fanning that flame. And on the exhale, just simply allowing the light of that flame to resonate within. Fanning the flame so much so that that light within becomes that divine fire within. That inner globe of energetic of that's love itself, the light of love within our heart center, expanding with each in-breath as we consciously allow for the expansion of this light. So we're just allowing this ball of light now to extend beyond the body torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that we're sitting in this field of light and love now. With each in-breath, expanding it even further. Filling this, the very room, this very sanctuary with light and love, filling the room in which you are sitting. Lying in this field of light and love that it extends even beyond time and space at a quantum level, that we are joined, entangled, if you will, in a quantum level at this energetic of light and love. And so with this sense of conscious unity, we just release any cares, concerns, intentions, aspirations that we've brought here this evening, whether they be resolutions or revolutions, that we're just releasing all of it to the mind of the divine itself, that aspect of the mind of the divine that knows only to say yes. That this release of thought to mind that is impressing itself upon a united field of the Most High that knows only to say yes. That its full and complete demonstration is automatic and spontaneous. As it says yes to the law of its own being, which is infinite. So we take a deep breath, launching our own cares, concerns, even now as we stay with the breath, that every and immersed in this field of light and love, that every atom, every molecule, every cell, every organ, every muscle, the connective tissue, every neuron, all the various hormonal systems, the respiratory system, circulatory system, all of it is aligning with a pattern of perfection, with this energetic that is the light and love of the Most High, that through this alignment now our body, temple, all of us are expressing as radiant good health in all of its forms. That any any obstacle, known or unknown, standing in the full expression of radiant good health is dissolved. We take a deep breath. We release. And again, in this field of light and love, knowing that the heart has been expanded and opened, that our mind is now open to a divine download of new and creative ideas, dynamic ideas, to any seeming challenge or problem that we know that the solution is already in place, that we are capturing in the deeper aspects of the subjective, that we are capturing these ideas for their full and complete revelation, either now or even later, or in the dream state. We know that these dynamic ideas, these living ideas, have within them the energetic for the expression and demonstration of our best life now. So we take a deep breath on that and release. And for our relationships, whether at home and hearth, or in the office, in the checkout line, or on the on-ramp on the freeway, that all of our relationships with others are, we recognize as a co-creative expression of life that we are calling forth now and aligning with this energetic of light and love, knowing that they are demonstrating in our relationships as harmony, as peaceful abiding, as serenity, as connection, passion, spontaneity, good humor. And all of the expressions of relationship that we are now making welcome. Taking a deep breath, releasing as we move now into our final release, knowing that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life of the divine, of which we have been communing and emanating with, that we recognize that we have released all these thoughts, feelings, ideas, aspirations, that we've cast them all upon this ocean of consciousness, the mind of the living spirit. So we release it now with one final release in deep gratitude and confidence, knowing it is done, knowing it is complete, so that finally we leave here this evening. For those of us here in the sanctuary, that we leave here knowing that we arrive home in safety and in good order. And as we all make our way through the rest of this evening, finding our way to our beds, that as the head hits the pillow, we drift off easily to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling fully restored, rested, revitalized, with a sense of vim and vigor and a zest for life, to go out and make this our best day ever. So we take a deep conscious breath with this last realization, knowing that in that release, it is already done. And in gratitude, we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right, so thank you for joining us this evening. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're almost up to 600 now. We're just I think 6 short. So help us help you. You can also join us where we live stream or love stream, if you will, right here on this YouTube channel, or you can find us on our website at cslgh.org. We started, the channel is open at 10:25, and this week we'll have Jason Goldstein as our music director as we kick off this new year, speaking to the thing itself as we explore the nature of the divine and our relationship with it. And so look forward to seeing you then. Until then, know that you're loved, peace and blessings, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.